Okay, guys. We are live, and today we have a special guest on our podcast. Before we met with some of my colleagues, talented agents, but today I have a podcast with the legend, Dr. Anand, and today we will discuss psychology of sales and everything related to the sales. Don't forget to share stories of this podcast and tag us in the stories, and later on we will reshare it as well. Dr. Anand, can you please introduce yourself in a few sentences to our audience?
Okay, very quickly, because I want to focus more on the content. Academically, I have a PhD in psychology, so I understand human behavior. I basically understand how people think, how they communicate, how they react, and how they actually behave. So I did that, and then I started with Emirates Airlines for 10.5 years. I was head of training with the flight catering teams. From there, I moved into Debunking Properties, where I became their vice president training to handle all their training teams. Debunking used to have offices in about 25 countries at that time, 40 offices. Did that for a while, then I started to work with brokers, and then I set up my own business. Mm-hmm. So today I work with the real estate teams from all the top developers, Dubai and Abu Dhabi, as well as all the brokers, tier 1, tier 2 brokers in Dubai. So that's where I come from in terms of my professional expertise and background. So today we're helping people make money.
Yeah, amazing. And Dr. Anand helped to make sales not for 100 millions, maybe billions of sales on the real estate market in Dubai. I'm sure we will have a very interesting conversation today. You have a PhD in psychology. And our topic of the podcast is psychology in sales. For example, let's take me, I'm an experienced agent. I'm closing the deals. I have quite a lot of clients. Why should I pay attention to psychology, and where specifically I should pay my attention to?
Okay, great question. I actually get this from a lot of people. You see, when we have become experienced in sales, we have spent 5, 6, 8, 10 years selling, and we've closed deals, we made some money. But we've never sat down to evaluate how much money we actually lost during these years. Because the performance is easy to measure. Non-performance is very hard to measure. So we've never sat down to consider the amount of money. Probably 10 times what we have earned today is what we've lost. And we never lost those because the opportunity wasn't good. It was just two people playing on different fields. So let me give you just a quick example. What is the first thing you are doing when you are given a lead to identify if they are left brain thinkers or right brain thinkers?
I don't do anything. I don't know how to do this.
Absolutely. It's not just you. It's the market. 90% of the market don't even think about this in the first place. So if I don't know if my client prefers a left brain way of thinking, processing information, and communicating, I might be using a right brain way of doing it. And it makes perfect sense to me. Everything that I'm saying, the way I'm saying it, it makes perfect sense to me. But I'm not buying, he's buying. People buy from people they like, but people like themselves.
Are you tired of playing catch up with the huge amount of real estate projects in Dubai and the fear of missing out on the best ones? Discover the secret behind staying ahead in the game with Really. Imagine closing more deals simply by staying updated on the latest project. With Really, you can make it happen. In Dubai, fast-paced real estate market, over 50 projects launch every week. Really aggregates them all, creating a streamlined platform to track, compare, and make informed decisions. Just download Really, explore all off-plan projects, stay ahead of every project launch, win back available time, close more deals, and make more money with Really.
Now, we already know that sales is a profession where a lot of people don't trust the salesperson.
Oh yeah, this is the big problem.
We already know that.
Yes.
Now,
for good reason sometimes.
For good reasons, they've had past experiences. Now, real estate salespeople in Dubai, people really don't trust them.
Yes.
The broker community as well, because of all the experiences they've had. So I don't trust you because you're a sales guy. Now, on top of that, you're a broker in the Dubai market. Why would I even trust you?
Yeah.
So how do I build that in here? So if I don't trust you on this, and then you're explaining things to me, you're presenting things, you're qualifying using your right brain because that's how you love to work. And I sit in the left brain. I just don't get what you're saying. So a simple example, and then I'll go to your next question. Imagine two rooms in your head, a left brain and a right brain as two rooms. Now you're sitting in one room and the client is sitting in the other room, in your heads.
Yes.
Right. What is the probability that one person sitting in another room can even hear what you're saying? Zero.
Close to zero, yeah.
Now, the client doesn't understand this concept either. Even if he did, he's not going to get out of his room and come into my room. So what I need to do is firstly be able to recognize that he's not in the room with me. We're not sitting on the same side. So I need to get up and go into the room where he is. That's when he pays attention to me. That's when the communication starts. So I move from my right brain into the left brain in my patterns, language, and approach. And suddenly, what didn't make sense before is starting to make perfect sense, because people buy from people they like, but people like themselves.
Okay, I think the obvious question is, let's discuss the left and the right brain. What are the differences and how can we identify them?
Okay, very quickly, the left brain is the more practical brain. It's the logical, numerate, analytical, technical, structure, sequence, fact-driven brain. Very, very practical. They do not do business based on emotion, relationships, gut feel, instinct. They don't do it because others have been doing it. So for me, show me the money and show me that you've got a logical, structured way to show me how this money came about. That's all I'm interested in. And back your facts up with the sources that you want to use. I want to see a logical approach to what you're doing. When I ask you questions, no guesswork. I want specific answers to the point. That's your left brain. Think of it as a machine that's performing. The right brain is more fluid. They're more relaxed. They want to engage with you. They want to have fun. They want to talk about everything around. They want to know who's buying in the community. They want to know about children playing on the weekends, and they like to know about the flowers and the little butterflies in the park. They want to engage with you. Don't bore me with numbers. Don't go into structure and process. I lose interest immediately. Excite me. Engage me. Build relationship with me. I will buy from you. I will buy. But the moment you start throwing numbers and statistics at me, I'm going to switch off. Now, in rapport building, which is so critical because we don't trust salespeople, and more so we don't trust brokers in the market. It's important for me to feel the connect, to feel I can rely on you, and I think you're professional at what you do. But how we decide a person is professional depends on which side of the head I sit on as a client. For me, if I sit on the right brain, I determine that you are professional by your relationship, how you engage, how you seek to understand me, how you empathize with me, how you make me feel comfortable with you. That's where I see you as professional, not because you tell me yesterday 2.8 billion dirhams of transactions were registered in Dubai. That doesn't impress me. In fact, that switches me off. So the unconscious rapport is even more powerful than the conscious rapport. So on an unconscious level, in my mind, I'm not comfortable with you. Now, on the other hand, rapport on the left brain, we've always been taught rapport is getting people to trust you. Yes, that is true. But how do people trust you? If I'm a hardcore numbers guy, structure, sequence, fact-driven, I don't trust you because you're friendly and you offer me a tea or a coffee, or you are talking about how many people bought from. I trust you when you can throw the numbers in my face, when you can show me why, when the whole world prices are dropping, give me the rationale. Why is it going up in Dubai right now? So when you can give me the numbers, when you can quote the sources and you're emphatic and in control, I like you. That is rapport. But I didn't build it on relationship. I built it on your approach and your facts and practicality of what you did.
Amazing. So which questions I can ask to my client to identify if his left brain or right brain is working?
Okay. The first thing that we got to do is, let me complicate it a bit more.
Let's do it.
There's not just left brain and right brain. There's front brain and back brain as well.
Okay.
Now, the front brain and back brain are your first indicators to where this client is possibly sitting. Then you look at the left and right. So the left and right is a business approach, relationship-based, and we are looking at number-based or logic-based. The behavior is my indicator. So front brain people are usually loud, they speak fast, they gesture a lot, they interrupt, they want to be in control, they have good intense eye contact, strong firm handshakes, high energy, high risk taking, they move around exactly like how I'm speaking. Okay, that's my front brain. So say I'm making a phone call and a person picks up and says, hello. I already have an indicator this is front brain.
Okay.
Because he's speaking loud, fast, he seems in control. The back brain is the exact opposite. They're softer, they think before they speak, they're a bit more slow, they don't take risk, they're very patient, they tend to ask questions, their body language is a bit more guarded, not facially very expressive. You will not see a lot of it. Look at what has happened to me now. I totally changed. So earlier I was like a live wire. Now I'm completely different. So you call, you make a phone call and someone says yes. Now I don't see the same level like hello,
Yes.
which is so that is already an indicator to me. Then what I would like to do is when I'm starting to talk to the person, I want to start by asking some open-ended questions. When I ask an open-ended question, I'm going to listen for the energy level, for the tonality. Besides that, I will look at, do they use short sentences? Do they say the sentences fast? Are they very specific sentences, or are they long, expressive, subjective? Let me give you an example. Okay, so if you were considering an opportunity in Dubai, what type of investment would you be interested in? Now, someone who's a front brain, aggressive, high energy will turn around and say, I'm looking for short-term returns. Okay, so that will give me an indication. Short, fast, specific. But what happens is soft people, when they speak, it will be more like, well, I'm not really sure yet. I'm just exploring right now. I need to check all the options before I see what works for me. And you can see, so it's a very different approach. Immediately, I have to start to mirror and match. If I'm an aggressive front brain personality, I'm actually intimidating that person. I'm already a sales guy. People don't trust me. I'm a broker. People don't trust me even more. Now I'm speaking loud and fast. I come across as dominating, controlling. And here's a soft, quiet, thoughtful person. The connect doesn't happen. So I need to mirror and match, and I need to slow down a little bit. I need to drop the tone in my voice to mirror and match the person. But if I find that they're speaking loud and fast, I stay loud, fast. So if I'm a back brain person, I will have to tone up. In that case, then I'm looking for short sentences, specific sentences, fact sentences are all left brain. Okay, long expressive sentences. Well, how much are you looking at investing? 2 million. Well, around 2 to 2.5 million. That's a left brain. Right brain would never answer like that. Right brain would be, well, that really depends. I have to first understand which kind of home I really like. I was thinking around 2.5 million, but it depends. If it's something I really like, I can go up to 3.5. You see what's happening? The question was a very simple, straight question. But the sentences become long. They become more subjective. And somewhere in all those words, the specific answer will come. So when I see long sentences, vague sentences, people wanting to engage, talking, going disconnected sentences, they're random in how they think. I know these are people who are more fluid and more flexible. Immediately it's an indicator that that is the right brain. I switch my pattern. I become friendly. I use Dennis's name a lot more. My gestures become natural and flowing. I go into longer sentences. I go more vague. So now, let's take another example. I want to find out how soon he's planning to buy. If I know now he is a right brain person, I would turn around and, if I was left brain, I would simply ask, so when are you thinking of buying, right?
Straightforward.
Straightforward. Or when are you planning to move into this house? That won't work with right brain. That's perfect if you have a left brain person. He'll tell you 2 months' time. Okay, because he'll answer in the same way. But if it is right brain, I'll say, so let's say, Dennis, I could find you that home, this absolute dream home, perfect community, ticks all the boxes for what you want, what the kids want. How soon would you be thinking of moving? I'm doing the same thing, but I change my pattern and my approach. But this guy likes my approach because that's how he speaks. But left brain, I would never say all of this. I would go straight. So for that kind of a home, how much are you looking at investing? You see my tone? It became more in control, more serious, more fast, on point. Same question.
Yes.
But I'm asking it differently to get my responses.
Let's talk about the closing part with the left and right brain. For the left brain, it looks like it's easy. I like it. Yes, the numbers are good. We're going ahead. Is it like this? Or?
Actually, you gave the answer in something you said. You said, I like it.
Okay.
Now, this is something, let's talk about this because it's interesting. A lot of people who do not understand the dynamics of how we think and how we make decisions are absolutely convinced that left brain people decide logically. No one decides logically. There is no human on the planet who will decide logically. Even the most hardcore investors will only make a decision emotionally. They will justify it through logic. So let me give you an example, okay? Look at your own answer, because you're pretty much on the left brain side. You said, okay, so I know the numbers, you told it to me, I like it. Like is an emotion. So if I like it, I'll take it. If I don't like it, I won't take it. So the decision is made on whether I like it or I don't like it. My process towards the like or don't like is a logical, structured, factual one. So we will always make the decision emotionally. We will justify it through logic. So it becomes really important to understand, even in the selling process, the entire selling process involves switching between two brains. And I'll touch on this a little bit because this is really important. People are losing massive deals because they don't understand this concept. We all agree that we have to build rapport and trust. Agree, disagree?
Yes.
We agree, right? Rapport comes on the right brain. It's about relationship. It's about comfort. Trust is right brain. Comfort is right brain. Every time you contact a client, let's say it's a cold call where people are not, by the way, I don't use the word cold call anymore. I call it a cash call.
Wow.
The purpose of the call is to make money, right?
Absolutely different approach right now. It's cash call.
It's a cash call. I'm not calling to order a Baskin Robbins. It's not a cold call.
Cash call,
Calling to
such
make
a
money.
big difference, such a big shift. Like, sorry for interrupting. Like, we have something that's called unsuccessful leads. I will propose to call them cash leads.
Yeah.
So absolutely different approach now. Yeah.
And there is no such thing as an unsuccessful lead. We'll probably come to that later. But let me stay with this. So now, let's say I pick up the phone and I call this person. If it's a person who has not made an inquiry, what normally happens? They get irritated?
Yeah.
Or they're upset? Or sometimes they might even threaten that they're going to complain on you. So what happens? They're getting angry, they're getting upset, they're getting irritated. That's all right brain. Those are feelings. Even if I send them a WhatsApp, they might just not respond to it. They go into a place of feeling. Or they saw a listing and they were curious about it. Curiosity is a feeling. They wanted to know more. So when they write you an email, when they send you a WhatsApp, when they give you the details, they're sitting in the right brain. Even if they're left brain people, at that point, they're sitting there. At that point, a very logical person, I make a phone call to him, he gets irritated, he's in the right brain. You cannot start your selling engagement, your phone calls, your responses on WhatsApps face to face in the left brain. You have to meet them in the right brain. That's where your client is sitting, he's in that room. So even if you're a very logical person, you cannot start in another room. That's the reason why we have the warm-up, we have the rapport, we use the name of the client, we get them to feel comfortable. Once they're comfortable, I must take control, and control is a left brain word. And then I move them into the left brain. I do that by setting an agenda. I qualify only in the left brain, never qualify in the right brain. Why? The right brain is imaginative, creative, concepts. Left brain is fact and recall. When I'm qualifying about what kind of home are you looking for, what type of investment are you interested in, I want fact. I want recall. I don't want a dream.
Oh, how would you specify this if, for example, you ask me this question, what kind of home are you looking for? Like, I am looking for apartment or it can be a townhouse.
Okay. That is, you're talking of the specific qualifying questions. That is part of the process, and I have to ask that to both left and right brain. But before I do that, I need to make sure when I'm asking qualifying, both my clients, left or right, are sitting in the left brain. Because imagine a client is sitting in the right brain, he's creative, he's imaginative there. And I start asking, what does your ideal home look like? He will tell me about a palace.
Yes.
So what's going to happen to me? I will take the right brain answers, which are imaginative, creative answers, and I'll start to build my selling process, my shows based on that. The guy doesn't have money for a palace. He's got money for a one-bedroom apartment.
How can you explain it to him?
Which is the reason why you don't explain in the right brain. Take them to the left brain first. And you do that by setting an agenda. So then once I know I've connected with Dennis, I said, Dennis, let me tell you what happens next. With your permission, I'd first like to ask a few questions so I better understand what exactly you're looking for. We'll then look at some of the opportunities that are displayed on the models here. We'll visit one or two of the villas for you to experience the lifestyle. Dennis, this is really important for you. When we come back, based on what you told me and what you liked, we'll identify two opportunities and we'll see how it works best for you. Is that okay with you?
Yes, it's fine, yeah.
Nobody will tell you it's not okay. But what they don't realize, what Dennis does not realize is I used a structure, sequence. let me tell you what happens next. It's like an agenda. Agendas are always left brain. Just by default, because I used an agenda, you switch into left brain. And then I tell you, first I'll do this. Next we will do this. Then we will go and visit. When we come back, your brain is already going into pattern.
Yeah, I see.
So now when I start asking, your brain, you're sitting in the left brain. So your answers will come out left brain influence. But if I don't do this, you're on right brain. You might have had clients who say, well, open budget, huh? Money, no problem.
Yeah, tell us what to do with this. It's our pain.
Yeah, open budget is right brain. Because there's nothing specific. There's no fact. So you don't want to do that. So if a client said open budget, I know he's sitting in the right brain. That's a warning for me. Because later on he's going to complain about the price. So what I would do, I have to pull him into left brain. So he's giving me a vague answer. Open budget. Vague is right brain. Specific is left brain.
Yes.
So I must do something here. I must ask specific. So he will come specific. So here's what I do. Dennis says, open budget, no problem. I'll say, excellent. I've got this 9-bedroom villa, Jumeirah Golf Estate, every bedroom with its own private balcony, overlooking the Fire Golf Course, 14,000 square foot built up area, 49.8 million. Would that be something you're interested in? Immediately he's gone into, because too much of detail, specific, to the point. He jumps in, he says, for no, 48 point million, no, I can do about 15 million. Now he gives me the number. He never told me 15 million before. So if I just listen and qualify in the right brain, I'll be showing him palaces and mansions, and eventually say, I'll come back to you. Because that isn't what I was interested in anyway.
So how, sorry for interrupting, how high should be this qualifying proposal, not to sound like you are making fun of him? For let's say I received the lead for 2-bedroom.
Right.
And he wants the 2-bedroom in Dubai Marina. I'm asking, what is your budget? It's open budget. Yes, I can say it's 12 million or like...
Yeah, just ask. Let's say if he says it's an open budget, I'd say, excellent. We have some amazing opportunities right now, 8.7 million. Would that be something you might be willing to consider? I go with a specific question. They will rethink. In that moment. The moment they rethink in that moment, now he's stuck. He was sitting there, he has to transition to this side of the head. So my questions have to be very specific. This is important. The thing that we need to understand is, as long as my client is sitting in the qualifying stage in the right brain, I'm going to get imaginative, fancy answers. I'll build my entire views, my presentations, my data collection on fancy answers. And you know what happens when this client leaves and goes and he says, okay, find me something, send it to me, and next week let's go and view a couple of them. And if this client gets up and walks away, it was imagination. He's not going to even remember what he said. But fact and recall, people remember.
Yeah, true.
So I want to build my approach on fact, on recall, which is important. So the whole process, the presenting, the objection handling has to have its structure. It needs to have fact. I should be able to quote the sources. I had to be able to present evidence. This is all left brain. And when clients raise objections, they can get emotional, which is right brain. So I have to know how to pull these guys in. In the selling process, we run a program called the progressive selling. We do exactly this. We keep the client at different parts in the selling process in the correct side of the head. At some points, I want them in the right brain. For example, I have to check, how is this client feeling about what we've been doing so far? Is he emotionally invested in what we are doing so far? So that's when I'll ask right brain questions. Because the left brain thinks, the right brain feels. So a simple question would be, if I know I'm talking to left brain people, let's say, so Dennis, what do you think about this opportunity? Because they don't feel their way through it. What do you think? If it is a right brain person, I would be asking, so Dennis, how do you feel about this opportunity?
Guys, difference, you feel that, yeah?
Absolutely. Because when I say, because the right brain processes through how they are feeling. They will be listening to what you're saying, but they are feeling something. So they are processing how they are feeling based on what they are hearing. And they're associating with that. But the left brain is processing based on analysis. They are thinking, they are comparative. They're checking out the numbers. They're calculating if this makes sense, does not make sense. So I wouldn't ask a left brain person, how do you feel about this? So what do you mean feel?
Yeah.
I was thinking. Now I have to wonder, how was I feeling? He'll cook up an answer. So to get the correct feedback, I have to do this. So if I want to check how they're feeling, I'm standing at a model. Let's take an example. Let's take an Arabian Ranches 3. The client is showing interest in Ruba. I've taken him to the model. Once I present everything, all the details of the community that are relevant to him, we don't present everything in the community.
Yes.
Only what he's interested in. Once I've done that, I don't leave the model because I do not know if he's emotionally invested at that point with me. I could be dragging a dead body through the whole process. So I must, at different points in my selling process, do what I call a pulse check. This is not
Pulse
an
check.
industry term, it's just mine. How do you check if someone's alive? You check the pulse. So I have to check if this prospect is alive with me in the process. So I need to do a pulse check. So how would I do it? I'm at the model. I present Arabian Ranches 3. Standing at the model, I'll first ask a left brain question because I'm presenting the left answer. So Dennis, what questions do you have about Ranches 3?
This and that.
At the model. Once he's got questions, I answer it. Then I will do a pulse check. I'll say, so what did you like about this community? Like is right brain. When I say, what did you like? And he says, well, I like the layout. I love the fact that this is close to the community center. The lagoon is great. He's going into emotional connect.
And sorry, I want to highlight, not like, do you like, you don't ask the client, do you like it? You ask him, what do you like?
Do you like doesn't give you anything. I'll have to ask a second question. It's a closed question, right? So, okay, Dennis, do you like this community? Well, yes, I like. I have no clue what you like about it.
Oh, yeah, so good.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'll have to ask again, so what did you like? I might as well ask it straight away. So what?
Why is
did
it important to know what does he like? I will just clarify.
One, for closing, it becomes important because closing is emotional connect. And when he tells me what he likes, he's confirming based on what I qualified whether this community is actually meeting those needs. So I want to know how he feels about that community. So what did you like about Arabian Ranches? Or Ranches 3. What did you like about Ruba? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I would say excellent. Then I'll ask another question. Dennis, wouldn't you say this is the kind of community that you'd like to live in with your family for, say, the next 5 to 8 years? And then I'll listen to the tone in his voice. If he says, well, yeah, this is the kind of, I'd say, excellent. I use a power word. Great. Fantastic. Because the tone in his voice tells me he's in the yes.
Why did you brought? I really like this, the way how you ask the question. It's incredible. Like, why? Just want to highlight to the guys who are watching us. Why did you brought the family and the time period? Let's break down this question that you asked the client because I think there is a lot of gold in this.
Yes. If it's a homeowner, there's going to be family involved. All right. If it is not a homeowner, if it's an investor, I'll ask it slightly different. I said, Dennis, can you now see why families would like to live in this kind of community?
Amazing.
You see? Because for him, rental yield matters. For rental yield, it's important that families should want to stay in the community. That's the reason why we talk about it. And once he says, oh, let's say I asked him, so can you see yourself living in this community for, say, the next 5 to 8 years? He said, well, yeah. So that tells me he's a 5 on 10. Because he's saying yes, but he's not in the yes. I will not move from the model and tell him, please come with me, let's go and view. Because I'm taking a person with doubt in his head. I need to clarify. At the model, I said, Dennis, what else do we need to take care of so you can own this villa? Address it there. And only when I get that good yes, I'll say, excellent, please come with me. So at every single stage in my process, I do my evaluations. And the evaluations are always pulse checks from the right brain.
Yeah.
Now, the closing will come to emotion. Again, we start the process with warm-up, we do wrap-up. The entire selling process, the word process itself is left brain. The engagement starts in the right, the process happens in the left, we close out in the right.
Emotions.
Yes, emotions. And when people leave, they get doubts, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Buyer's remorse. We call it a buyer's regret. Regret is a feeling. How come they're getting a feeling if it is a logic decision?
So emotions involved.
Emotions are involved. This is what happens. And when people leave, whether I'm an investor, I feel good, I got a good deal. This is going to make me money. It's a feeling and I'm associating with the feeling. Or I go back, I listen to my friends and they tell me, are you crazy? If you had that kind of money, why don't you give me half of it? I'll give you 10% return anyway. So when they have a doubt or a regret, that's a feeling. Buying decisions are emotional, but regret is also emotional. And it's very important because once they leave and go, even if it's a logical thinking person, they will forget the process, but they'll remember how you made them feel. And I have to go back to this guy to get referrals.
Yes.
How is he going to give me a referral if he's not feeling good about the engagement with me? So even the whole selling process needs to incorporate left and right. I know there's a lot in this kind of session. We may not be able to cover it, but I would encourage all these people, whether they're new or experienced, to start reading up on these things. Start picking up. There's a great book. In fact, I'll give the name of the book. It's called Surrounded by Idiots.
So funny. I saw somebody reading it on the swimming pool, and I look at like a little bit offensive, like person is reading.
It's a great title. I'll explain the title. It's called Surrounded by Idiots by Thomas Erikson. So I think everybody should pick up this book. Everybody. It's not about sales, it's about anything. You're married, you have a wife, you have a girlfriend, you got kids at home, you work with colleagues in the office, you need this book. As long as one human engages with another human, Surrounded by Idiots is your book. Now, why did he call it that? You see, most of us are blind to our own patterns. We have patterns. My pattern works for me because 30, 40 years of my life I used it. It's got me to where I am today. I lost a lot, which we don't tend to focus on because it's hard to measure what we have lost. Easy to focus on what we have. So I've lost a lot. And I've always been confused when I'm presenting a project, when I'm qualifying, when I'm handling objections, the answers are making perfect sense to me because I'm saying it in a way that I understand it. But I'm not buying, he's buying.
Yeah.
So what ends up happening is I walk away confused because people say, you know what, let me think about this. They make excuses and I walk away saying he's an idiot. It made perfect sense. I spoke with a few others. They may have sat on the same side of your head, right or left, and you had no idea about it. It just happened that they sat. So they said, I love it, let's do it. So now you're saying, what's wrong with this guy? He's an idiot. So we can grow up thinking that a lot of people are idiots. They're frustrating. They make me explain so much. They don't get such a simple concept. And we think they're the idiots. But over time, you will discover that they are actually very smart people. They're just differently smart from you.
Yeah, I see.
Because they, and then you realize something else. Hang on a second. Maybe he felt I was the idiot. And that is why he didn't want to put 8 million on the table. So we are surrounded by idiots. Great book to pick up. You cannot go wrong with the book.
Amazing. I just have one more question related to the left and right brain and different clients, and I want to pick your brain on this. Let's say
Which side do you want to pick, left or right?
We'll discuss both. Let's say there is a launch of the project.
Okay.
Blue Waters, like extremely popular. I need to collect the money before the launch, etc.,
Right.
etc., etc. How would you sell this to the left brain and to the right brain clients?
Okay. Firstly, if it's a launch, if nothing has been constructed, you're probably going to get investors coming right now. Okay, you won't get a homeowner.
Yeah.
Homeowners will buy with an emotional engagement. So there's a very real possibility 98 to 99% of the buyers will be left brain. It's an investment.
Yes.
Investments are left brain. So you would take a completely left brain approach, practical facts, because there's nothing they can see. So I have to be able to give credible sources of information. How did the previous building perform when you launched it in that area? How many units sold in the first 1 week itself? What appreciation has happened on those units in the last 6 months before you launched tower number 2? So those are specifics, numbers. That's why I go to left brain, because investors are interested in that. Homeowners would never come to a launch of a project unless you're having certain political situations and people are just looking to float their money across, in which case pretty much they just want to be reassured that they're putting it into something secure. So my job is to question and find out the appetite of the buyer. Are they risk-based buyers? Because those are the ones who come more for the launches. Yeah, their appetite is risk-based, opportunity-based. The security type buyers will come. I'm bringing my money, let's say because there's a war from Ukraine, Russia, anywhere, or something happened in India when we changed the currency, a lot of money came here. So at this point in time, for me, I just need to park my money somewhere safe. So many of them will be happy to look at a ready to move in. They want to see the villas in the community. I know my funds are secure. I'm already taking a big risk moving it from my countries. And now you're asking me to put it into something where I'm seeing sand. So I'm just not comfortable with it. They will hesitate because when I'm not comfortable, I'm right brain. My emotion is not connected. So I have to know the appetite of the person. Then I suggest the project. So if it is a launch, it is going to be left brain. There's nothing on the right brain there.
Are you tired of playing catch up with the huge amount of real estate projects in Dubai and the fear of missing out on the best ones? Discover the secret behind staying ahead in the game with Really. Imagine closing more deals simply by staying updated on the latest project. With Really, you can make it happen. In Dubai, fast-paced real estate market, over 50 projects launch every week. Really aggregates them all, creating a streamlined platform to track, compare, and make informed decisions. Just download Really, explore all off-plan projects, stay ahead of every project launch, win back available time, close more deals, and make more money with Really.
The right brain, there are a few from the front brain who will come. These guys are high risk takers, but they get excited. They buy because of the brand value. They got the money lying in the bank account. They're not really looking for return. They're looking for the status value, the show off. They want the Bugatti. They want the Di Grisogonos. They want the Ferraris, the Lamborghinis, not Ferraris. They want the Lamborghinis. So for them, it's a power association and it's a status association.
So which scripts do we need to use with them?
So
Triggers
with
to trigger
who?
them
With
to
the right brain or the left brain?
Let's go with both of them.
Okay, so that's the reason why the first thing.
And let me put one more thing that you have to sell. Let's say like you really need to sell.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there should be no other way you're in sales. If you come into sales thinking that you have the luxury of deciding whether you sell or you don't sell, leave sales and take a desk job. If you're in sales, you have to sell. There's no two questions about that. As simple as that. There's a company depending on you. There's a family depending on you. Even if you got money in the bank account, you're taken care of. But why do I have you on my team? To sell. So we have to sell. There's no midpoint in that for me. Okay, it's not necessary he should buy, but maybe but I have to have this, I need to sell. So the first starting point is in my qualifying, I have to ask, Dennis, in order for me to find what really works for you, let me ask you a couple of questions. What's the reason you're looking to buy now?
I want to put some money in the property. I heard that the market is good. I'm expecting good returns. I want to sell it after some time.
Okay, excellent. So you're looking for returns and you want to sell it after some time. What according to you would be good returns?
I heard you can get 100% in 1 year.
Well, you can get 100% in 1 year if we choose the right kind of property for you. And I actually tell you how to do that because we can explain to the new joiners. So now if you notice, the conversation has gone all onto numbers and into specifics. This is left brain.
Yes.
And I will ask you one more. So you did mention that you want to sell it in a few years' time. How many years are you thinking of holding the property?
As less as possible, maybe 6 months, 1 year.
So 6 months, would it be 6 months or 1 year?
In this period of time, if you can sell it earlier, I'll be happy to sell it earlier.
Okay. Now remember, if I did not ask this question, what did you say first? You gave a very right brain subjective answer. Sell it after some time. What is after some time? That gives me an indicator he's sitting in the right brain. Right brain uses vague language. I will qualify. Remember, I said you have to qualify only in the left brain. That's why I'm going specific. When you say after some time, how many years? So I'll make you tell me 6 months to 1 year. Because if I don't get that, I might assume 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
And I can make a mistake when I'm presenting the property to you. So if you notice, the pattern that I used here was I dragged you into the left brain because I went with specific questions. So you gave me specific answers. You started by saying, I'm just looking to put some money in some property so it can be safe, make some good return. Vague.
Yes.
So, and we have brokers starting to think, okay, this community will give good returns. Based on what? Do you even know what he wants? Now the 100% which you said, like some people are tough, right? They will just do this to throw you off track.
Yeah, I'm not playing an easy client.
I know that, but I know how to deal with you. I'll say, done, no problem. Excellent. Okay, it can be done. And you know what? And the moment you say, perfect, the client goes onto the back foot. What do you mean perfect? You see, then I'll ask him, okay, how much are you looking at investing right now?
Like $1 million?
$1 million. Are we talking dirhams or dollars?
Dirhams.
Dirhams. Okay, excellent. Now, you do know if you buy at launch, you don't even need $1 million. True? You might need just 10%.
Yes.
Correct. At the current appreciations that are happening in the market, we are expecting 13.5% in year one alone. But the market indicator in January and February alone has been a 14% jump. So let's say you bought a 1 million property, Dennis, and you put a 10% down payment. And you paid probably another 10% 3 months later, and you paid another 10% 3 months. So within 6 months, you paid 30%. Most developers will allow you to sell at that point. But you've gone 6 months into the project. At the current way properties, the prices are going up in some of these communities, we just need to find you the community that will get you about 30% value or increase that will be 300,000. So how do I do that now? It's very simple. So let's say I take a Tila Lalgaf. Prices are going through the roof just after launch.
Yeah.
So at the end of 1 year, that property, it won't get 1 million in Tila Lalgaf, but let's say, okay, I'll find a similar one. So at the end of 1 year, I have a 30% increase. That's 1.3. But how much have I paid so far?
30%. So
30%, 300,000. So an appreciation of 300,000 on a payment so far of 300,000 gives you how much, Dennis?
it's 100%.
That's how you do it.
Yeah. Can you guarantee me this?
Okay, great question. All right. What do you do? Are you a business person? What do you do?
Oh, I have a factory that produce windows.
Excellent. So I'm sure you got a business plan that you create so that you make a certain amount of money at the end of the year.
Yes.
Can you guarantee that will happen?
No.
So let me understand this. Every company in the world, every single company creates business plans with expected outcomes. They do it based on past performance. They do it on calculated market trends. They do it based on reports and studies that give them the market intelligence. But no company anywhere on the planet can guarantee they will do exactly that. So if it is okay for every business in the world, including yours, to have that element of possible non-compliance, why is it necessary that only in Dubai real estate must give a 100% guarantee when the whole world is permitted to operate minus the guarantee?
Well, I'm just counting on your opinion that you said that in 30%, I will, in 1 year, I will get on 100%, and I'm doing business with you because I trust you.
Okay.
And
Now
your expertise.
that I understand. You're counting on my opinion. An opinion is perception, but isn't fact. All businesses, in good faith, are projecting based on their experience. A corona came in and destroyed the world, right? Did anybody project that?
No, nobody.
Yeah. So what happened to all the plans? Where are the guarantees? So there is nothing that has a guarantee. There is an assurance based on credible studies, based on past indicators in those communities, based on current government projections that this is the expected returns. And if the whole world can work on those, I think real estate in Dubai can also work on that.
Yeah, makes sense. Cool. Let's move to some. You mentioned several times that agent needs to build relationship with clients.
Absolutely.
What are some of the best practices that you have noticed and that you tell to your students to use?
Okay. Some of the best practices, the first thing is I've noticed that when people understand their market, they know their numbers, they know the current trends, they're familiar with the communities, there's a certain confidence that comes into their approach, their body language, the way they present themselves. This is unconscious pattern. So the first thing I pick up from you is your unconscious confidence. I don't look at your suit and form an opinion about you because everyone is wearing a suit today, but I still don't trust these guys, right? So I am picking up certain clues from your behavior, the way you sit, how you use your hands, the way you hold your head, because we all demonstrate the behavior. That's my first thing. The second thing that is very, very important is my listening ability. It is absolutely important in the first few minutes that the client speaks more than you. But salespeople are exactly the opposite because they have nervous energy. They feel they have to make all this, but they just talk non-stop. And what happens is, here's a client, I don't trust you, you're a sales guy. And usually these salespeople talk too much. Now you're doing exactly that. Why would I trust you then? Before you talk, can you respect me enough to understand me? Can you listen to me? Can you ask questions about me? Show me that you are interested in me. So instead of going out there and pitching and starting with all of this, seek to understand. I'll tell you one of the most common mistakes made by brokers, even experienced ones. So what kind of a community are you interested in? Well, I'm thinking of a waterfront lifestyle that I can get between 7 to 8 million. What happens to most brokers at that point is they immediately in their head start thinking, okay, there is this launch that just happened. It comes around 6.8 million. They'll immediately come in and say, I have just the right thing for you. Okay, we just had this launch and man, finish the qualification first.
Oh,
The client
so
is
good,
not
yeah.
jumping up and running away. Keep asking, because the moment you jump in, it shows you're trying to sell. Seek to understand first. You know you've got that.
I'm doing this mistake myself.
Yes, I know that most people are doing this. What I would do is, if the person said, well, I'm looking for a waterfront lifestyle within 7 to 8 million, I'll say, excellent. So besides being waterfront, what else is important, Dennis, when you will make the decision?
Size, the floor plan, something.
Okay, size. So what kind of sizes are we looking about? You can never assume because sizes are perception. In Dubai, you can have developers making certain units which look good, but there are people who have come from back home where they live in houses where 1 bedroom is equal to 3 of yours.
Yes.
So I need to ask, when you say size, what square feet are we talking of approximately? So I need to ask. Then I move out of the home and then say, okay, Dennis, it's important that the services that you have access to are also the best so that you can have that lifestyle. So besides the size and having a waterfront view, what else is important in the community before you make a buying decision? You see what's happening now? I'm not giving any answers.
Yes.
I'm asking. I'll get the person. And when people keep talking, they will start to trust you. They're getting comfortable with you. Then I have to learn how to mirror and match the tonalities, the left brain, the right brain, the good eye contact, the summarizing of my questions before I even get into trying to present. So for new brokers, especially, I would tell them be very, very careful who you are listening to. There are out of 100 brokers around you, there'll be 80 who are about average. Mickey Mouse is in your office as well.
Guys, super important information.
All right. Don't listen to Mickey Mouse because Mickey Mouse is not closing deals himself. He wakes up in the morning only to destroy the morale and the motivation of the people in the office. Don't listen to him. Find the guys who are closing the deals. Find the guys when they come into the office, you see them at the desk. They do talk. They mix with people, but they're focused. They came here to make money. These are the people you need to be talking to. Because new people, you are very absorbent. You're highly absorbent. You're going to take anything that is thrown at you. Why? Dennis is sitting here for 1 year. He's got to surely know something. But how did you decide that Dennis is the best person for you to talk to? Have you seen Dennis's qualifications? Have you seen how much he's closed? So how do you know Dennis is the best guy to talk to? So it's very, very important that you choose the right kind of person because those who are closing deals, those who are making the money are not afraid to tell you what to do. The ones who are not closing will tell you the leads are rubbish. It's very hard. They actually use worse words. The leads are shit. I'm going to say it. They will tell you that. They will tell you that there is no support from management. Training is very weak. Most of the clients are just playing games with us. Yeah, well, if this is your attitude and this is how you come in, I will play a game with you because you're useless. So I need to see them having that confidence which comes from one, knowing who they are, studying and knowing their communities, market trends, having the absolute belief that you really want to help this person buy. Stop selling. Help people buy. Because when you're selling, I can make out you're selling. When you're helping me buy, I can make that out also. One of the best advices I've given to anyone is think you're selling to mom and dad. So let's say your mom and dad came to you and they said, look, I've got this 4 million. I'm not sure how to invest it. I'm confused. There are so many opportunities in the market. And you had to help mom and dad buy. Would you have a different approach from your normal clients?
Oh, definitely.
Correct. Do just that with every client. If they are little younger clients, think it's a brother. Think it's a good friend. A friend from school. You would advise them differently. Just do that. People will see it and they will buy from you.
Such a good advice for the new agents, not to listen, as you call, to Mickey Mouses, and I see it myself how sometimes they're losing their spark in the eyes after a few weeks since they joined. What else can you advise to do let's talk about new agents, yeah? So let's say they joined the company. First of all, I have a good question to you. How would you approach, if you were a new agent, how would you choose a company? How to understand that the company is good?
Great question. Great question. Okay. We are a product of our environment. Okay. Just like companies are checking if you're the right person to work with them, you have the right to ask questions. So don't be afraid in an interview. So if Dennis is interviewing me, I would say, finally, I'll say, Dennis, if you don't mind, there are a few questions that I have to ask you. I'm going to, here's an example. I would do this way. I'll say, so Dennis, what's the average lifespan of a broker in your company? How long do they last?
But in our industry, a lot of agents are coming and go. So what should be a good answer to this question? Not less than
2 years.
2 years.
Minimum. So if people who are coming to your company, Dennis, are leaving in 3 months, what went wrong? They came motivated. They wanted to actually join. How come motivated people have got their CVs out in 3 months' time? I need to know. So how do you actually support your agents? What kind of training do you give them?
What kind of support agents should look in the company?
That's what I'm
just
asking.
Understand.
This is what I'm asking. So this is what I'm saying. An agent should ask this kind of question. So let's say I come and join you as a company. I'm going to be giving you, if you're saying the average life of an agent is 2 years in your company, I'm going to be giving you my first 2 years of my real estate career to your company. Can you demonstrate why I should give you 2 years? What will you do to help me during these 2 years? What kind of trainings do you provide? How do those trainings actually get measured in terms of results?
Bogdan, don't you find that an agent who will be on the interview, he will be a little bit scared to ask these questions from the HR?
Okay, if that is the case, then I'm sorry, he cannot complain later that nothing is happening in the company. It's your life. There's no gun to your head. If you're going to come and you're just going to take anything that's thrown at you, don't complain after that. You, by choice, have gone into that company. This is my life. Who's going to feed your family? HR?
No.
So, what's more important to you? Food on the table for your family or that lady who's interviewing in HR? Which one is more important?
Food on the table.
There you go. That is the answer. So, I need to be sure. It's okay. If I'm not convinced that this is the right company, thank you very much for your time. Let me go and find another company. They should ask questions around the legacy of the company, the track record, the performance, if it can be got at least in broad numbers. So in the last 10 years that you guys have been in this business, what's the kind of business you all have helped your clients do? Okay, where do I see myself within 2 years? Let's assume I respond well to the training, I work the processes the way the company teaches it to me, I come in on time, I'm there all day, I do all of that. Where can I expect to see myself in 2 years' time? How are you going to evaluate my daily performance, Dennis? What kind of feedback systems do you have? How am I going to get coached? How do managers motivate teams here? These are the questions to ask. How do managers in this company motivate their teams to stay on top of what is happening? I need to ask these questions. It's my life. I have only one life. If I'm going to have the questions in my mind, but I'm not going to ask it early, I will end up asking them. When I join the company, I'll go for a cigarette break with Mickey Mouse and I'll ask Mickey Mouse the questions. And Mickey Mouse is going to give me idiot answers, and now I'm demotivated sitting here. Yeah, but you had the opportunity in the interview to ask the question. And if a company is getting offended by those questions, you want to ask yourself, do you really want to join that company? Some of the companies here are absolutely spot on with what they can give you to support you. So you have the right to ask the question. So I think you should just ask, how is the company going to support you? Just putting you in a corner, dumping a few brochures, telling you go to the developer's office and go and study some of the models doesn't work. Okay, so Dennis is a new guy. I said, Dennis, it's very important since you're in off-plan, you must understand the personality of the developers. You must understand the personality of the communities. So here's what I'm going to do with you, okay? I'm going to send you with Jack. Jack has been with us for 3 years, closes some great numbers. When you go with Jack, I want you to see how Jack presents it. I want to see how he engages with the client he has taken there. How does he talk and build relationship with the salesperson? And I want you to see what type of questions he's going to be asking. So when you come back from that meeting, I'm going to be sitting with you and I would like you to present the community to me. Or I will ask you a few questions on it. Then I create that schedule. I want you to focus on EMAR and I want you to also look at a second option, say an Ellington, for example. I'm going to make a schedule for you. Over the next 3 days, you will be visiting the EMAR sales centers. You will also go to the Ellington office. When you come back at the end of each day, I'm going to sit with you for 10 minutes. I'm going to review. So I need to have a review in place. So you should be asking these questions. How are people going to evaluate my performance? Let's say I'm not doing well. How is that going to be communicated to me? Ask the questions that matter. Otherwise, what's going to happen is at one point you'll be called by HR and say, you know what, it's not working out. Thank you very much. That's not how you want to discover it.
I see. You mentioned that the management needs to track the agent. Let's say somebody end up in the company that doesn't have a tracker, on which what a new agent should track on a daily basis if he's self-managing himself.
Okay. Few things that you need to be tracking is the actual volume of the activities. So are you going to be selling in the secondary markets, ready homes, or are you going to be selling in the primary? It's very different. In the secondary home, the number one statistic that matters is the number of listings that you can get. The number of listings are really, really important. Focus first on getting listings, not so much on getting buyers. We can always give you old leads from the company later, or once we have multiple listings, it is just natural that you will get more and more leads will come in. So don't worry about the buyers, because if you create buyers and you don't have the inventory, then obviously you're going to have to go and work with others. You will make money, but you're going to have to share your money. You may not feel very excited. Focus on getting listings. Listings is where your credibility will be seen by people. If you're in the off plan, focus on the community and work with your manager. There is a graveyard of leads lying in every company. I call it the sales graveyard. It is there in every single company. Tell them, give me those. Okay, you believe those people are not buying? Doesn't matter. Give me 20 leads from there. Let me start with them. Let me practice with them. Okay, because those leads are only in the graveyard because someone gave up on them. That's what I said earlier. I'll talk about leads later because I don't believe that the lead is something that's useless. There are multiple results you can get from leads. Put yourself into the head of a millionaire, a guy who is suddenly seen a Tilal Al-Gaf, 9 million, 12 million. You think millionaires don't have better things to do? That they will get onto the internet, search this, find that particular brokerage. Okay, let me pick this brokerage company. I get in there, find a listing, put my name, put my nationality, put my anticipated investment amount, my mobile numbers, my email IDs, and all of that, so that when you call me, I'll say, well, you know, I was just looking. Millionaires have better things to do. This is the sales guy who gives you these as excuses. I have exposed so many sales guys, and it's so easy.
Ever wondered how top real estate agents in Dubai secure the most clients in a highly competitive market? They respond fast and accurately to their clients' requests. Imagine being the first to respond with stunning sales offers, closing the deal effortlessly. With Really, creating high-quality presentations and sales offers is just a click away. No more racing against time. Stand out by replying in seconds, not hours. If you're ready to be the fastest agent in Dubai, download Really, customize your offers, outshine your competitors, fast responses, impressive offers. Really, where the speed meets success.
Let's say Dennis is sitting in front of me and he says the leads are rubbish. Okay, really? Okay. Bring 5 leads that you're working with right now that you decided are rubbish. Bring them and come and sit with me. Okay, let's take them one by one. This first lead, tell me how you decided it was rubbish.
Can I role play with you?
Yes.
He's looking for 4-bedroom villa with a 2 million budget on the waterfront.
Okay. Now, have you had this conversation with him? Because if it's a lead that has come in, that is not possible to happen. Because in the lead, when we have the listing, the price is there.
Oh, sorry, I'm talking from the off-plan.
Okay, off-plan perspective. Okay, even in off-plan, in the listings, not listing, but we are putting, right? Launch it, price is starting from.
Yes.
So the price is there. A start price is already there. But yes, you're right. You can get some smart guys who will talk to you and say, okay, I'm ready to invest 2 million. I'll say, Dennis, are we talking down payment? That rocks them.
It's a polite way to say that this money is not enough.
Yeah? Absolutely. I would turn around and say 3-bedroom apartment, downtown, overlooking the fountain and the Burj Khalifa. At 2 million down payment, I can get you some amazing options. It's your way of telling them. So this is really important. We have to understand the lead and how to work with the leads. You know, one of the biggest leads. So, okay, let's go back to the situation. Lead is rubbish. Okay, perfect. Here's what I want you to do now, Dennis. Call the client now in front of me. Call the client.
Okay, let's say I'm calling.
You know what's going to happen in reality. They will not call. Because the moment you pick up the call, I will show you it's not the lead that's crap, you're crap. Call the client right now. I'm sitting here. I'm here to help you. Make a call. I will demonstrate why that lead has told you I'm not interested. Because you're not interesting. This is what happens. I've done this with so many brokers. Everyone backs off. Bring the lead and sit. I will call him. And you will see the difference happen. So this idea that leads are crap is sold to them by the Mickey Mouses who sit on the floor. Okay, I'll give you an example. I don't want to take the name of brokerage, but it's a nice big brokerage, one of my good clients. They spend a lot of money, sometimes between 500 to 700,000 a month on lead generation. Now, you have this bunch of brokers sitting there, and you've got the morning meetings happening, and the leads are shit. Comes out. Okay, so I said, okay, let's come up here and let's discuss this. Fine. I said, you said the leads are shit. Did you know that shit, when you recycle it and you treat it differently, is $1.3 trillion as an industry? When you take shit and you treat it differently, it turns into money. LEADS, leads. Treat it differently, it is DEALS, deals.
Deals.
That's the first thing. Now, forget that. You said these leads are shit. I said, this company is spending 500,000 every month. That's 6 million a year on lead generation. And they've been doing it for the past 10 years. Are you telling me that the leadership of this company is spending 6 million every year for 10 years and they haven't figured out that the leads are shit? But you showed up and in 1 month you could figure out the leads are shit? And there is silence in the room. Then I will tell you, bring me your leads, I'll sit with you after this meeting. Make a call, Dennis. You will know. People have to change because they're listening to if you listen to the right person, you will never get this idea in your head. Think logically. Owners of most of the brokerages have built their experience and their money they know these markets. They know the portals they're working on. And they're putting 6 million every year. Some are putting 8 million every year in lead generation. You think they don't know what they're doing? And you are questioning that. That's the first challenge that you will have with them. The second reason why this happens is, even if you get an inbound leads are at least warm. They will pick up the phone and talk to you, correct? But the big mistake people make is when he picks up the phone, he's in a curiosity state. I saw something, it looks interesting, and that is the reason why I gave my details. But he's in a curiosity state. When people are in a curiosity state and you try to convert it into a meeting, they are not going to come. When people start the process, they start by searching online, they're looking at a few options and they will be considering it. But right now I'm curious. So when I'm curious, I will not jump into my car and come and give you 3 hours in the desert. Neither am I going to get onto a plane and come. But the brokers do not understand this concept and they immediately get onto that and they're trying to convince this guy to come for a meeting. In curiosity, I will always tell you, send me WhatsApp. Because I'm curious to know. I'm not yet in the buying mode. So when I'm curious to know, I will not come for a meeting. So that's when you will believe that the clients are useless. They're just playing around. They're not serious. They're all saying, send me WhatsApp. And those clients will not read that WhatsApp because I didn't like the way you kept pushing me. When I'm only in curiosity state, there's no way I'm going to come. And because you tried to push me, when serious interest has not yet been created, I will not come to you again. I'll refuse to answer your phone.
So how to work with such clients?
So what you got to do with every lead, once you get the interest, thank them for it when you call them, convert it into serious interest by asking the right kind of questions. When I take curiosity and make it serious interest through my phone call structure, when I have serious interest, I will consider, let's go and meet. So the probability of getting the conversion to the meeting jumps because I'm not talking to a curious client anymore. I'm talking to a client with serious intent. He's in a different mental space.
So how to put him in that space?
That's a whole phone call. structure. That's a completely separate training altogether. However, what I have to do is this. I mean, all new brokers, whichever company they're in, sit with your manager and say, how do I move a client who was curious when he asked for some information? How do I move him to a place where he has serious interest? And that actually happens by first not talking to them, pitching, we have had amazing launch and nothing. Thank them for the interest and say, Dennis, thank you for your interest shown in 1, 2, 3. The reason I'm calling you is to understand your needs just that little bit better so we can look at what really works for you. May I ask you a question or two? Start by asking questions. So what attracted you to this type of community? And I start. So now when they start talking about it, they get more invested in the community. So they move from curiosity into interest. And from there I will move. All my invitations for meetings, all my agreements with them have to be third-party approaches. A third-party approach is where you use someone he trusts. You see, he doesn't trust me. I'm a sales guy and I'm a broker. But who does he trust? Other investors.
So we put them in the story.
Put them in the story. So the way to do it, I said, Dennis, the reason why Emaar Beachfront has been so successful with so many investors is because of 1, 2, and 3. He will listen better. Because if I say the reason why Emaar is so successful is 1, 2, and 3, it's a sales pitch. And I don't trust you. It's just a phone call. But I say the reason why Emaar Beachfront is so attractive among investors today is because of 1, 2, 3. So I bring the investors in. That's when he's a bit more open to it. This is how we do it. Then I have to set them up. I can have leads who may not be from Dubai. They might be from outside. Some of them have never visited Dubai before, but they've heard stories about Dubai. And you don't know what they've heard. So you don't know what is their perception about Dubai. So I need to find out first. Okay. So Dennis, have you visited Dubai before? On the phone. Have you visited? Well, yes, I've come a few times to Dubai. I'll say, excellent. What do you like about Dubai so much? So they'll start focusing on what they like. Well, I like the lifestyle opportunity. I like your beaches. I like the quality of the malls. I like your nightclubs, your communities. It's such an amazing city. I'll simply say exactly. Okay, Dubai is one of the best visited cities for both business and pleasure. That's why so many people are investing in property. Then from there I'll go into. So Dennis, if you were to consider an opportunity, what exactly would you be looking for? But I set him up to feel good about Dubai first. Because you're buying in Dubai, right? So from there I will know his experiences with Dubai. Then I will go. So there are many things that you have to do in the call, which will make this person now be more into serious interest. That's when they will consider the meeting. And another thing we need to remember, these clients are speaking to multiple brokers. You're not the only one. Because I searched online, right? When I searched online, I saw this villa, which is exclusive with this person. So I put my detail. Then I saw another one in the same community with somebody else. So I contacted them also. And I don't feel the need to tell you I've contacted 4 or 5 people.
And they sometimes feel bad to tell you.
One, they could feel bad. Secondly, I don't trust you. Why do I share this with you?
How to work with this?
Let me see what you will bring. Let me see what they'll bring. So they are talking to a few people there. So what will stand out is every one of them, or at least 80% of them, are trying to push. In the middle of all those 3 to 4 people he's talking, he's now talking to a broker who's engaging with him, trying to understand him, asking the right kind of questions. He will remember you among the 4 others. He will be more inclined to come and meet with you.
I like the trick that Zoheb, realtor on Harley, shared, that he's actually encouraging the client, go and speak as well with other agents.
Yeah. Why not?
And it's like you're suggesting to do this, and
Yes.
it helps as well.
And that's Zoheb is an amazing guy. Believe me, he's got his head in the right place. The guy understands the market. He knows how to work with clients. He's really good in that. So again, here the concept is what? Okay, I encourage, I say, look, talk to others. But my way of doing it is, I do it slightly different. But I'm 100% with Zoheb. The idea is perfect. It's bang on. The way I do it is, I would tell you, okay, Dennis, okay, have you been talking with any other brokers in the market? Or is there any other community that you've already seen? What kind of research have you done? I know from these answers, he's working this. Then I do a thing. I say, Dennis, okay, now I understand we're talking 7 million. It's really important that this investment works for you. So if you are actually planning on talking to other brokers, here's my suggestion. talk to those brokers first. Speak to them. Let me be the last broker you meet. So that way you have spoken to few people, got their information, you've seen how well they have handled you in the process, and then let's meet. And so you can make an informed decision right after that. Don't show them you're desperate for the business. Encourage them to go out. Tell them once you have seen them, when you take this approach with clients, clients trust you. Because
They feel the confidence.
what they are seeing is brokers grabbing. Instead of seeing grabbing, say, okay, I have just one career. Let me be the last person you talk to. Let's look at whatever they're offering you. After that, when you come and meet with me, let me show you what I think works for you. And then you make a decision. Is that okay with you? So I think absolutely spot on. Works.
Let's discuss the conversation in the WhatsApp.
Okay.
It's a very big part of our work and a very big communication tool with the clients. For me, it's my favorite one. Like 95% of my deals are done through the WhatsApp. Only qualification call initially goes through that. I'm not saying it's the best practice. I need to do more calls definitely, but WhatsApp is very important for us. What are some? Let's start with the good practices that you recommend to do in the WhatsApp.
Okay. My first bit of advice to anyone on WhatsApp is don't reply to the WhatsApp, reply to the person who's writing the WhatsApp. The WhatsApp is just a communication channel that he's using. So I have to be able to look at the WhatsApp and read the personality of the person who's writing the WhatsApp. Remember, he's just using a channel. Then I have to mirror and match his personality through the WhatsApp. He's not seeing me, I'm not seeing him. So I want two people to communicate with each other using this as a channel. So if the client is writing short sentences, single lines, you reply short sentence, single line. Because in his mind, his unconscious preference is to see short things. So if the client says, well, how much is it? I have to go for a single line. If I type a full paragraph, they have multiple options in there. It really depends on the view and the kind of unit that you're looking for. They start from this, but it can go right up to this. In the client, the first thing is when he opens the WhatsApp and he sees a paragraph, he switches off. You're destroying the rapport. And then I have to read all of this to find that answer. I asked a simple question. This is a left brain client. So give me a straight answer. So mirror and match the personality of the person, because our minds contain frames. My frame is my phone where I see things short. That's in my head. Don't destroy the frame by putting long paragraphs in between. I'm not comfortable with the frame. Now, if the client is writing a paragraph, and even if you don't like to write paragraphs, write a paragraph. Because his frame is not single lines. That's very important. So what do you do then if a client asks a question, he wrote it in a single line, maybe 2 lines, but you have to explain a bit for him to get the answer. You can't do that in 2 lines. Switch to voice note. Because a voice note will only show us a single line. So his frame remains intact, plus he doesn't know what it is, so he has to click on it. And in a 10-15 second voice note, you can say so much more because your tonality of voice will come in. You can be more impactful rather than typing the paragraph. And if I have seen that his pattern is short, my sentences, I may speak for 15 seconds, but I'll use short sentences. I have to mirror the person. That's when it becomes a lot more effective. When you have these voice notes coming into the picture. So, excuse me. Second thing is, be careful about the choice of language that we use. All of us understand how to use language, but we don't understand how language works. So therefore, we tend to communicate using our preferred way of communicating. But we have to understand that nobody understands words. We don't understand words. The brain, the human mind, has to convert the word into a picture. Let's do an example. You can do this as well as those who are watching. Think of a burning house. In your mind, you will see a house on fire.
Yes.
But you will not see the words A, B, U, R, N, I, N, G, H, O, U, S, E. So we need to understand that for the mind to understand what we are saying, it will flip into an image. And then it will relate to it. I need to be careful because my choice of words can create the wrong image in the head of the client. So you have to use only neutral language to positive language. Let's take an example. Client says markets are down right now. Now, markets are down creates what impression in the mind? Loss.
Yes.
Negative. companies shutting down, people committing suicide, being thrown into jail, checks bouncing. The Great Depression will come into our mind, even though that's 100 years ago. People will still talk about 2008. All this will come in mind. How do you think they're going to feel when they relate to that image? Negative. So imagine me replying saying, I know there's a recession coming, but I'm reinforcing the image because I used the wrong word. So I want to use markets are down is negative. So I don't want to say markets are down, but I will change my language. I'll say, Dennis, markets are different today.
Big difference.
In what I said, right? So he's not reinforcing that. I said markets are different. People are investing, but they're thinking differently and they're deciding differently. Would you like to know how?
Yes, tell me.
That's a neutral. So we go positive. I can use positives. Dennis says markets are down. I'll say, Dennis, it's important that markets should be good.
Wow.
You see the difference?
Just a statement, not a fact, but it's important that markets should be good.
It's important that markets should be good, because why am I doing this? When people are objecting, when they're raising concerns, their mind is closing. They're going into a narrow space. Think of a door closing in your face. What is your chance of entering when the door is closing? Very little. Stop the door from closing. Keep it open. Now you can get in. So how would I do that? Dennis says, now is not a good time to buy. Or markets are down. I'll say, Dennis, I can see this is important. The door stops closing. Or, Dennis, it's important that markets should be good. Door stops. Then I get into handling it. So how you choose your words, how you speak matters. Now in your case, probably you are working with a lot of clients who are sitting in Russia or one of those countries. Most of them will not fly in here. So they are buying on the confidence that they can see around them all their friends, colleagues, other business people are all doing it.
Yes.
So monkey see, monkey do.
Yeah.
This is what will happen. Everyone is doing it, so that helps them make the decision faster. So yes, you will close the deals. The trust is being built on the phone call and maybe the way in which you're giving them the information. But they're comfortable taking a decision because I want to get my money out quickly, especially now. I want to get it out quickly. Everyone is doing it and they're all going to Dubai.
Yes.
So all of that is actually selling to me in Russia or in Ukraine or anywhere. It is selling to me. So I'm already half sold that this is the place I got to go. So it becomes easier to do the closures on the WhatsApp in these scenarios. So just watch how you frame your sentences, match his sentence. If he's got long sentence, you give long. Short, you give short. He goes specific, you go specific. Tonalities will help. Try use a few voice notes in between. Learn to give rather than receive. Another thing I would give as an advice. When I look at the WhatsApps that are being sent, what are we sending out? Brochures, PDFs, brochures. This is what is happening. If I am getting from a broker a brochure, if there is a Canal Heights launching, I'll get 27 brochures. The same brochure will come 27 times from different brokers. I don't need that. But that's what I'm going to get. But no broker is sending me a property monitor report saying, hey, Dennis, since you are thinking of buying right now, read this report. And when you're looking at this report, I've highlighted for you how the downtown area and Business Bay has operated. It is one of the top 5 areas for the last 4 years running in the market. There is some interesting information here and there's a trend. This will help you when you make a decision. Immediately I stand out from the others who are just sending me brochures. Keep doing that. Yesterday we had an article that came out, the Japanese survey, which talked about Dubai being the cleanest city and the safer city for the last 3 years. Screenshot that. Send it to people who are in the process of deciding to buy. Send it even to people who said no to you in the past. Become a person who educates. Give before you get. Then there was the report that came out from Knight Frank, which dropped the global average from 2.7% to 2%, but it increased Dubai to 13.5%. And Knight Frank is an international report, so people cannot challenge it. Send that report. Say, this is the reason why people are investing so much. Then quote your numbers. You should know your numbers. Last year, we did 528 billion dirhams, $500 billion. 123,000 millionaires. So when I'm giving information, put a voice note and say, this report from Knight Frank has actually dropped the price increase worldwide, which means when you consider Transferring your money elsewhere, you're only going to get a 2%. The same report has elevated Dubai by 13.5%. You'll get 5 times what you would get in any other country. And that's the reason why last year alone, 123,000 millionaires invested $500 billion in the Dubai market. That's how you use your numbers, and you bring it in, you become credible. Because my whole pitching and handling objections has to be left brain. So I bring the numbers, I quote the studies, I bring in the facts. But if I'm not aware of these things, it's not going to work.
Analytics will definitely help.
Yes, and I want to say something here which I think is really important. We are focusing on the new brokers, but to a large extent, there is a responsibility with the ownership and the leaders of these companies as well. You change your recruitment strategy. You take someone who's got no real estate background from a completely different industry, and you bring them into the company, and you don't spend time and attention, and you don't coach and train these guys. You expect magic from these people? So there has to be even if they have experience, they've got experience in other brokerages, but we don't do it that way here. So I still need to be able to coach you into the system. Plus, you must always remember, the new broker will never think about this, but the leadership must think about this. I bring this new guy, he's excited. I sit him in and do an orientation program with him. He goes in the break and he meets the guys and has a cigarette, and the crap is being put in his head. Because we have not educated these people. Be careful who you listen to. Suspend all your judgment. Come into the company. We know the people who will help you to become successful. We'll only get the successful people to come and talk to you. I'll give you one example. There's a company called Provident.
Yes.
I do a lot of work with Provident. There's a guy, Jad. He's in the secondary home market. And Jad is amazing. This guy, Q4 Performer of the Year he was for them. He came out of Lebanon in August. So he's out of Lebanon. No real estate background. Has no clue about Dubai. And the guy closed, 17 to 20 deals plus leasing, and he was a rock star. He's new.
Amazing.
So
and on secondary, it's very difficult.
Yeah. So when I'm doing training and I have the new people in Provident, I always go to second and say, is Jad here? And I bring him into the room. I said, this is Jad. Now, Jad, I want you to tell your story to them. And guys, I want you to ask questions to him. Very, very important. I said, you want to talk to people? Talk to Jad. These are the kind of people you want to talk to. They've done it. They've gone through the struggles, blood, sweat, and tears, but they made it. They have the right attitude. They have the right approach, and they will keep you on track. So I think it's really important that the company leaderships should become a lot more proactive in how they are recruiting these people. What are you doing to support them? How are you following up with managers to see? So, for example, I have Dennis as a manager. And I should know as a head of sale or owner of the company that 4 new people have been given to this team. Within the first week, I should call Dennis first. I said, Dennis, bring me up to speed. How are the 4 new guys in your team doing? What has been the kind of support? Where do you see some challenges? Well, there's this guy who tends to be, he just wants to do his own thing. He doesn't follow instructions. I said, okay, I understand. How do you plan to tackle it? But leadership must have these conversations. If they don't have these, even managers will end up doing their own thing. And then I'll have independently run ships within one big ship. It just doesn't work. And a manager leaves. Now I take these people who have learned this style of doing it, integrate them into other teams, and more chaos in those teams. So I think the system needs to be in place. Very important.
Yeah. Look, Anand, I have one question. It's not about good advice, it's something about bad advices. So what is some common practices or common advices that you can hear that are related to the sales in the real estate market that are totally wrong?
Okay. The first thing that I hear is, don't worry about talking, just bring them to our sales center. We'll close it for you. So I see this coming a lot from the developer sales team. So there's no need for you to talk about these things. Just bring him, we will close. Who built the relationship with that client? You, right?
Agent.
Agent, right? So what you're essentially telling me, listen, don't worry about all of that. You just convince him. I'm not giving you any answers. I'm not giving you any information. Just bring him. What? I pull him by the ears and bring him? And what are you going to tell him? Do I even know if you have the answers? So I hear this a lot. Okay, one. The second thing that I also hear in the markets is Don't worry about all that. You don't have to keep learning all this information. It's not enough. Just pick up the phone. Just keep dialing. Just keep dialing. Sales is a numbers game. Sales is a numbers game. Sales is a numbers game. But sales is an educated numbers game. I don't bring a donkey and keep him there and make 100 calls a day. It doesn't work that way. Why do I need to do that? I need to do that because I'm not using an educated numbers game approach. I'm not using educated people. So just make the calls, make the calls, make the calls, you will get the deal. But how many did you lose in that process? The sales graveyard. They go in there. No, sit your people down. Coach them. Even managers do this. Listen, just make the calls, don't worry, it will happen. When will it happen?
I can hear it quite often. Let's dig deeper there. So the idea is that like you keep on calling, you keep on doing the stuff, and you've been told keep on doing this, but yeah, nothing happens. So what would you advise to do to such person?
Very simple. You need to sit people down and firstly you ask yourself as leadership or as a manager. I'm asking this guy to give a call. Have I trained him to do the call the way I want it done in our company? Has he role played it with me? Can I see it being demonstrated? Who assessed that? Only after that I'll tell him, hit the phone. Yes, you have to make calls. You have to keep filling your pipeline. You have to make calls, but you need to make educated calls. So do you have the right approach? Do you have the right answers? Let me put you under pressure. Let me throw typical objections at you. Projects in Dubai are always delayed. How would you handle that? Give them, equip them, and then put them on the phone. When you don't equip them, they have to make 100 calls, 15 people will talk to them. When you educate them, they'll make 100 calls, 40 people will talk to them. Your conversion rates will go up. I try this. I ask this in a lot of brokerages, and I never get a satisfactory answer. I said, okay, let's say you're calling a client. Client tells you, now is not a good time to buy. Mm-hmm. Prices of homes have dropped by $32,000 on an average in the US. They've dropped in Europe, they've dropped in Australia, they've dropped in India, they're also dropping in Asia right now. It has to drop in Dubai. There is an interest, 4 times it has gone up, it's going to go up once more. There is an expectation of a recession. 2 banks now have collapsed in the US. You wait and see it's coming. How would you deal with that? And I don't get the answers in the brokerages. Don't blame the broker for that. Why do I have you as a manager? Your job is to support the team. You should be able to find the answers for them. You don't have it, go to your head of sales.
Dr. Anand, we want to hear the answer to this question.
Okay. Simple. The first thing is you have to be able to show that while the markets are dropping in other places, it's going up in Dubai. How do we know that?
Report.
The reports have justified it. The developers who are using 22 years of market intelligence are still launching communities. They would not launch mega communities and create liability on themselves if people are not going to buy. So 1, the reports are justifying it. 2, the developers are supporting what the report's saying. They're bringing the launches. And 3, people are buying. Launches are happening. Look at St. Regis Residences. 70% of the project sold out for $1 billion dirhams in 1 hour. 1 hour, 1 billion. We are averaging between 1.2 billion to 1.6 billion every day. That's the average that we're doing. So an entire city of real estate averaging that much a day. 1 building averages 1 billion in an hour. So these are all millionaires and billionaires from around the world who, like you, have figured out prices are dropping. They know interest has gone up. There is a potential recession. They know the banks have collapsed. Why are they still putting the money? So when I look at the way the market is responding, when I look at how the developers are in it, when I look at how the reports are confirming it, everything is in sync. Just this one guy sitting with you is raising a challenge. There's another way to explain it. Cash to mortgage ratios are very important. I have to understand that to know where the market is right now. Okay, in the US, it's a 96% secondary home market. They don't have off-plan. Even if they do have off-plan, they have to finish a certain percentage of construction before they can sell. Singapore, there's no off-plan at all. So there are ready homes market. When it's a ready homes market, the homeowners come up more. Not investors. Investors anyway would take cash. So when a homeowner comes up, when you have had 4 interest hikes, mortgages have become costly. So in a 96% market like Europe, Australia, India, the US, where it is secondary home driven and homeowners are coming, they need mortgages. But they're not taking mortgages now because of the increase. So homeowners are dropping the prices to compensate and make the homes attractive. We have last year on an average 82% was cash transactions. Only 18% was mortgage. These are the investors who are grabbing it. And it's mainly coming from the off-plan. In off-plan, you don't get a mortgage anyway. So it's cash buyers who are ruling the market. Even in the secondary market, there are cash buyers there. They're picking it up, paying cash. And then there are the homeowners who are taking it with a mortgage. But for every 4 homes that is bought or investments in cash, 1 is done in mortgage. We're an 80-20 market. So when your market is driven by cash, the investors are buying now. That is exactly why last year we had 528 billion invested through 123,000 millionaires. So Mr. Investor, when you say the prices are going down, where exactly did you get your information from? I'm quoting sources. I'm giving numbers. I'm quoting reports. So it qualifies me to ask you. So Dennis, when you say market is going down, where exactly did you get that from? There is no answer to that.
Yep.
So that is the way you answer the question like this. We are an investor-driven market now. Cash is king.
Dr. Anand, allow me please to come back to our new joiner, new agent, who is doing calls, who is actually doing everything by the book, and still he's not getting the result. And like our advice to him was go speak with your manager. Yeah, and let's say there is
one advice, yes.
One of them. Yeah. In case maybe the manager is super busy, maybe he doesn't.
I can't accept that. But anyway, go ahead. I'll answer that later.
Yeah, well, it's an answer as well. But maybe the manager is super busy. Maybe manager is always on the meetings and he doesn't have this kind of support. What would you advise him to do himself to evaluate what he needs to change? Maybe he needs to change the company. Maybe he needs to change some calls.
Yeah. Well, firstly, I have to address the manager thing. Okay, most managers do not even sit and support their teams. Why are you a manager? You get an override of commission, right?
Yes.
I'm the new broker.
Yep.
If I close a deal, why are you getting my commission? For what reason? To sit in meetings or to sit behind your desk? You get it to help me to close the deal, nothing else. Managers who are being called into too many meetings, the system is flawed in that company. The system needs to be changed. Boss, if he's not available for me, can I have my full commission? Why should he get it? The same manager who's not there will sit in meeting, I'll close the deal, and he'll take commission from me? Unacceptable. The system is flawed. That's the first thing. The second thing, by the way, this is me. I call it out when I see it. Okay. Any ownership of a company has a question, they can call me.
Okay.
And the second thing is, if you are, like you said, if he's going by the book and he's making the calls and he's doing everything and it's not converting, then the call process is wrong. If experienced managers, leadership, having closed deals before, having made calls and spoken to people, have given you this system, and if he's doing it, I'm going by your, if he's doing it correctly, then the call procedure needs to be relooked at. It is not the right one. I need to make sure the procedure is effective. When did you sit next to the guy and say, okay, for your next 10 calls, I'm going to sit next to you? Because the procedure may be correct, he may not be applying it correctly. How do I discover that? By sitting next to him, make 10 calls. I'm your manager. I'm here to support you. We don't do that. We walk to HR and say, he's rubbish, get rid of him. The next guy who comes will become rubbish because you're not going to invest time in him anyway. Yeah. So, evaluate the process. If the process is making sense, let the sales leadership look at it. Okay, this makes sense based on what we know. Excellent. Now evaluate how he's using it. That's the way to do it. So if that is not happening, there's no point in him sitting there anyway. He needs to move before he's told to go. And find a company where it is happening. Grow your network, become friendly, get to know agents all across, build your database in the market. I have helped so many brokers get jobs because I've told them, work with this company, work with this company. These are the companies that will invest in you because they believe in you. They want you to make money along with them. Work with them. There are companies that don't believe in you. You close, I'll keep 50%, you take 50%. Don't work with these companies. Give them the 50% because I'm coaching you, I'm training you, I'm getting inventory for you. I am actually having good managers with you. We do a lot of role playing. We do a lot of support with you. That's why you're being here. We are marketing well. We are listing on the relevant portals. So all of that is in place. That's why you share with them. So,
Dr. Anand, unfortunately, we have to wrap it up. And in the end, I would like to share some information with the guys where they can find your programs and what kind of programs do you run for the sales force.
okay. We run the entire selling structure, the sales process. We do the psychology of selling, managing sales effectiveness, managing lead generation, and lead management for conversions. So we run all these programs. We run how to interpret market trends, how to know to read the numbers, how to use those when answering. We do the psychology. We do the language influence, unconscious. We do all of that. So people can connect with me on my Instagram, on my LinkedIn page. They can drop in requests. It's very difficult for me to do individual sessions. I don't have the time. Look at this. It's past 9 o'clock and we're sitting here, right?
No.
Okay. I start tomorrow morning at 9. I finish tomorrow 9:30 in the night. So it's going to be very hard to do individual sessions. But going forward, Anthony and me have launched an academy. It's called Take Charge. There's a Take Charge Academy, and Anthony is one of the best known ambassadors of real estate in Dubai. They just have to connect with him. We've got all the information, what we're going to cover in the programs. We can take you to the next level, but you have to be able to invest in yourself, time, as well as some bit of money. If you don't have it, you beg, you borrow, don't steal. You beg, you borrow, but you come. We'll help you make it back in 2 months. But you have to do it. Show us that you are serious about your future. We will get serious about you. So join the Take Charge Academy, talk with Anthony, message us, any of us, we will respond to you. Or go back to your companies, tell your companies that we know people who can help make the difference. Invite them, let them just have a coffee with us. You don't lose anything. I'll pay the damn coffee, man. Right? But bring us in, ask us, demonstrate to me right now that you can make a difference.
Amazing. Dr. Anand, thank you so much for such valuable podcast. I'm definitely became a better seller from having it with you, and I'm sure guys who watched it as well got a lot of valuable information. And I hope you guys had time to share the stories on Instagram. I didn't have the chance to say that in the middle of the conversation because I was so engaged in the listening. Thank you once again. And maybe see you on the next podcast.
Definitely.
Whenever the time comes.
Happy to come along and help these guys to make money.
Yeah. Cheers, guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.